So meditation, huh? I bet a lot of you listening are kind of curious about it. Maybe you've tried it out a little. Maybe you've heard a bunch of different things about it, and you're like, wait, what is it actually all about?
Right.
Well, today we're going deep on this meditation thing.
We are.
And we're going to use your source material to get to the bottom of what it really means and how it could help you.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of people, when they hear meditation, they immediately think of like chanting or sitting in weird positions.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like completely emptying your mind.
Yeah, all those stereotypes.
Totally. And your source material goes way beyond that. Like, it even talks about how meditation can help you understand things like jealousy.
It does.
And even like physical pain, which is super interesting.
Yeah, and what's cool about the author of this material is they're so honest about their own struggles.
Right.
Like, they admit that they tried all these different meditation techniques and didn't instantly become enlightened.
Yeah. I really liked that it made me feel like, okay, I'm not the only one who's tried this stuff and not had like a magical experience.
Exactly.
Like sometimes you try things and you're like, am I doing this right? Is this even working?
For sure.
And the author even quotes Krishnamurti saying, truth is a pathless land.
Oh, that's a good one.
I know, right? And it made me realize that maybe we get tripped up trying to find the right path or the right method.
It's so easy to get caught up in looking for that one perfect technique.
It is. So maybe it's not so much about specific techniques as it is about cultivating something deeper.
That's what a lot of the thinkers in your source material seem to be saying.
Like what?
Like cultivating attention and awareness.
Okay, but what does that even mean? Like train your attention, train your awareness. What does that even look like in practice?
Well, if you think about the word meditation,
Okay.
it comes from the Latin root meditare.
Okay.
And it means to think or contemplate.
So
it's not about shutting down your mind.
Right.
It's about actively engaging with it, but in a different way.
So it's not about like becoming thoughtless.
Oh, not at all.
But more about being aware of those thoughts as they come up.
Exactly.
Okay.
That makes more sense.
And there's this great quote from Rupert Spira, who is another person featured in your sources.
Okay.
He says, meditation is simply being knowingly the presence of awareness.
Wow.
Right. It's like tapping into that silent watcher within you.
I like that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of that analogy the author uses about watching a movie of your own life.
Oh, yeah.
You're seeing the thoughts and emotions play out, but you're not getting lost in the story.
Not get all caught up in the drama.
Right. Exactly.
And, Eckhart Tolle talks about how suffering comes from identifying too closely with our thoughts and emotions.
Oh, yeah. I remember that part.
It's like we forget we're the audience and we get totally sucked into the movie.
Oh, my gosh. All the time.
Like, think about it. Haven't you ever reacted super strongly to something and then later you're like, why did I even get so worked up about that?
Literally all the time.
That's the space we're talking about.
Yep.
Yeah.
That space between you and the whirlwind of thoughts and feelings.
And that's what meditation can help you develop.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So if it's not about emptying your mind, then what's the point? Like, what's the goal of meditation?
Well, one of your sources talks about this idea from Vedanta philosophy.
Okay.
And it's this idea of the Atman, which basically means your true self.
Okay.
And the idea is that this true self is pure consciousness. It's not bound by your body or your thoughts.
So, like, it's recognizing that there's a deeper awareness beyond the ego.
Yeah, exactly.
Beyond that sense of me that's always judging and comparing.
Exactly. And meditation in this context is about realizing that you are not your thoughts or emotions.
Whoa.
You are the awareness that experiences them.
That's deep.
It is. And when you realize that there's a sense of freedom that comes with it.
And the author even talks about how they used meditation to deal with jealousy.
Oh, yeah, that was a great example.
Like they were able to really understand what was driving those feelings.
And instead of trying to ignore the jealousy or push it away, they used self-inquiry.
What self-inquiry?
Basically asking themselves, why am I feeling this way? Trying to get to the root of it.
And what'd they find out?
That their jealousy wasn't really about their partner.
Oh.
It was about their own insecurities and fear.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and there's this quote from Rupert Spira that really gets at this. He says, "The peace we seek cannot be found in the mind or the world, but in the knowing of our own being."
Wow.
Right.
So it's not about judging those feelings like, oh, I shouldn't be feeling jealous or whatever.
No, it's about understanding where they're coming from.
And then you can start to detach from the story they're telling you.
Exactly.
I always thought of meditation as this way to like escape reality and find peace and bliss. But this source material takes a different approach.
Oh, yeah.
It's more about facing reality head on.
It is.
Even the messy parts.
Like Krishnamurti says, to understand yourself is the beginning of wisdom.
That's powerful.
It is. And it might not always be easy or comfortable to really look inward.
Oh, definitely not.
But Osho, who is another one of the people featured in your material, describes meditation as a process of self-observation.
Okay.
It's like taking a step back and watching yourself objectively without judgment.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, and in that space of observation, we can start to see the patterns and beliefs that are causing us pain.
That's so true.
Yeah, it's like shining a light on those dark corners of our minds that we usually try to avoid.
And the author of the material makes this really interesting connection between facing those uncomfortable truths and ending misery.
Yeah.
It's like they're saying that the way to end suffering is to actually confront it.
Instead of running away from it.
Instead of numbing ourselves or distracting ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
we have to turn towards it.
And that's where meditation comes in. It gives us the tools to do that.
I can see how that would be really hard, but also really transformative.
It can be both, for sure.
I'm starting to see how meditation isn't just a mental exercise. It can actually impact our physical well-being, too.
The source material definitely suggests that.
It's like mind and body are so connected.
Absolutely.
And if we're holding on to pain on an emotional or mental level, it's going to show up in our bodies somehow.
And remember what Eckhart Tolle says.
About the present moment.
Yeah, he says, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have.
Right.
When we're fully present, we escape the cycle of dwelling on the past or worrying about the future.
So meditation can help us break free from those mental traps that keep us from experiencing real peace.
That's the idea.
It's like
Fair.
it allows us to tap into a deeper peace that's always there within us.
Exactly. It's not dependent on external circumstances.
Wow, that's really powerful.
It is. And the author emphasizes that this is a continuous process. It's not like a one-time fix.
It's an ongoing journey of self-discovery.
Exactly.
That makes me wonder if that restlessness we all feel sometimes.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not a problem to be solved. Maybe it's like a signpost,
Pointing us towards something.
pointing us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves.
That's a beautiful way to put it.
What if that restlessness is actually an invitation?
An invitation to what?
To wake up to who we truly are, beyond all the thoughts and emotions and stories we tell ourselves.
Wow. I love that.
That's a pretty profound idea, right?
It is. That, like, it's trying to tell us, hey, there's something more here. Pay attention.
Instead of trying to shut it down, we should, lean into it and
Yeah.
see where it leads.
And the source material actually gives us some practical advice on how to do that.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
The author suggests approaching those thoughts and emotions like you're meeting an old friend for the first time, with curiosity and openness,
I like that.
not with judgment or criticism.
It's like instead of pushing those feelings away, we're inviting them in,
Yeah,
offering them a cup of tea and really listening to what they have to say.
exactly. Creating a space of acceptance where they can just be.
And in that space, maybe we can start to see them more clearly, like understand where they're coming from and what's fueling them.
And as you do that, you can start to detach from the stories those thoughts and emotions are weaving.
Well, that's interesting.
You start to see them as temporary visitors, not permanent residents in your mind.
Which reminds me of how the author talks about how meditation isn't about escaping misery.
Right.
It's about understanding it.
Yeah, that's such a key point.
Like, we often think of meditation as this way to just bliss out and escape reality.
Totally.
But it's actually more about facing reality head on,
All of it.
even the messy parts.
And that takes courage.
It does. It can be kind of scary to look inward like that.
It can. But remember, meditation is about approaching yourself with compassion.
It's not about beating yourself up.
No, not at all. It's about acknowledging those thoughts and feelings, understanding them, and ultimately letting them go.
So it's more about befriending those parts of ourselves that we usually reject.
Exactly. And as we do that, we start to heal those inner divisions.
And integrate those shadow parts into a more complete sense of self.
A more authentic self.
And that's where true peace and freedom come from.
It's not about suppressing those difficult thoughts and feelings.
It's about understanding them and transcending them.
Beautifully put. That's where the real power of meditation lies.
It sounds like it's not about achieving some perfect state.
No.
It's more about this ongoing journey of self-discovery and growth.
Exactly. And that journey may have its challenges,
Sure.
but ultimately it's about liberation. It's
Yeah.
about realizing your full potential.
One thing that really stood out to me in the source material was how the author emphasized that meditation is a practice, not a destination.
It's not something you just achieve and then you're done.
Right, it's an ongoing process.
It requires patience, curiosity, and self-compassion. It's like tending a garden.
Oh, I like that.
You nurture the seeds of awareness.
Okay.
You water them with mindfulness, and you allow them to blossom in their own time.
And just like with the garden, there are going to be seasons of growth and dormancy. Sometimes the practice will feel easy, and sometimes it'll feel more challenging.
But even in those challenging times, there's so much to be learned.
It's like those are the times when we grow the most.
Often, yeah, it's those moments of difficulty that we experience the most profound breakthroughs.
So it's important to just trust the process.
Even when it's messy, even when it's uncomfortable.
Because every moment is an opportunity, whether it's pleasant or unpleasant.
To deepen your awareness, to cultivate more presence, to connect more deeply with your true self.
It's like those challenging emotions like fear or jealousy.
Yeah.
They're not enemies to be fought.
No.
They're more like teachers.
They have something to teach us.
Offering valuable lessons.
It's like flipping the script on how we usually think about those feelings.
Totally.
They're messengers guiding you towards those areas that need healing.
Towards those limiting beliefs that might be holding us back.
Exactly. So instead of trying to silence them,
we should listen to them.
And try to understand what they're trying to tell us.
And that's where real transformation begins.
The source material actually offers some really helpful advice on how to do this.
Oh yeah, what's that?
It talks about approaching your thoughts and emotions with the same kindness and curiosity you would extend to a friend.
Oh, I like that.
It's about bringing a gentle, non-judgmental awareness to your present moment experience.
Just noticing those thoughts, feelings, and sensations as they come up.
Without getting carried away by them.
So creating that space between yourself and those thoughts and feelings so you can observe them without getting lost in the drama.
And as you cultivate this mindful awareness, you start to develop a more spacious relationship with your internal world.
It's not about controlling those thoughts or forcing them to be different.
No, it's about allowing them to be as they are.
Without judgment.
And within that spaciousness, something magical starts.
So we're not our thoughts.
Right.
We're the awareness that's observing those thoughts.
Exactly. That awareness is your true nature.
Wow.
It's the ground of being from which all thoughts and feelings arise.
And as we connect more deeply with that awareness, we start to experience a sense of peace and freedom.
That's independent of what's happening around us.
It's like we're tapping into this inner wellspring of peace and wisdom.
That's always available to you.
Regardless of our external circumstances, it's like we're discovering this hidden treasure that's been within us all along.
What a beautiful way to put it. And the more you practice, the more you cultivate that awareness, the more easily accessible that treasure becomes.
So it's not about achieving enlightenment overnight.
No.
It's about making these small incremental shifts in our consciousness over time.
And those small shifts can have a profound impact on your life.
Leading to greater peace.
Clarity.
Compassion.
All of it.
It's a journey, not a destination.
That's what the source material emphasizes.
There's no finish line.
No point where you arrive and you're done. It's a lifelong practice.
It's a continual unfolding.
Of becoming.
That's both exciting and kind of daunting.
It can be both. For sure.
But it's also really liberating.
To know that we're not fixed.
That we're constantly evolving and growing.
Exactly.
So even if we've been meditating for years,
there's always more to discover.
More depths to explore within ourselves.
And that's what makes this journey so enriching and rewarding.
It's like we're peeling back the layers of an onion.
Oh, I like that.
Revealing more and more of our true selves with each layer we shed.
And as we peel back those layers, we're not just uncovering our own individual truths.
We're also connecting more deeply with the universal truth that unites us all.
Exactly. So it's not just about self-discovery.
It's also about discovering our interconnectedness with all beings.
And as you cultivate that sense of interconnectedness, your compassion naturally expands.
To encompass all beings.
Without exception.
It's amazing to think that this personal practice of looking inward
could lead to a more peaceful and harmonious world.
It's a beautiful sentiment.
It really speaks to the power and potential of meditation.
To transform not only our individual lives,
but to create a more just and compassionate world for everyone.
And the source material gives us some real guidance on how to do that.
Oh, yeah. How so?
It talks about extending that mindfulness and compassion we cultivate during meditation into our interactions with others.
Yes, it's about bringing that same gentle, non-judgmental awareness to your relationships, your work, your engagement with the world around you.
So it's not just about what we do on the meditation cushion.
Right.
It's about how we live our lives.
In each and every moment.
And as we embody that mindful awareness in our daily life,
we create a ripple effect of peace and compassion.
That extends far beyond ourselves. It's empowering to think that even small acts of mindfulness and compassion can make a difference.
Absolutely. And the more you practice, the more you cultivate those qualities within yourself, the greater that impact will be.
So it's not about waiting for some big moment of enlightenment.
Yeah.
It's about making conscious choices in each moment.
To align ourselves with peace, compassion, and understanding.
Beautifully said. And as we do that, we not only transform our own lives.
We also contribute to the collective awakening of humanity.
What a legacy to strive for.
It's a fitting reminder as we bring this part of our deep dive to a close. Remember, the journey of meditation is a journey of self-discovery, of connecting with your true nature, and of realizing your interconnectedness with all beings.
It's both deeply personal and profoundly universal. And it's a journey we can all embark on.
Right here, right now.
We don't need any special equipment or qualifications.
Just a willingness to turn inward.
And explore the depths of our being with curiosity and compassion.
Exactly. And as we do that, we open ourselves up to a world of possibilities.
A world where peace, love, and understanding are not just distant ideals,
but living realities.
This has all been super insightful. But I gotta be honest, the idea of opening myself up to all that can feel kind of overwhelming.
I get it.
Like for anyone listening who's now feeling inspired to try meditation or maybe get back into a regular practice, where do you even begin?
Well, the source material actually offers a really simple but profound suggestion.
Okay, what's that?
Approach your thoughts and emotions like you're meeting an old friend for the first time. Not with judgment or criticism.
Right.
Just with a sense of curiosity and openness.
I love that. It takes the pressure off, you know? You don't have to try to achieve some perfectly blissful state.
Right.
It's more about just being present with what is.
And that reminds me of something else the material talks about.
Oh, yeah.
The connection between unresolved pain and physical discomfort.
You mean how sometimes that pain can manifest as restlessness or anxiety or even physical ailments?
Exactly.
That part really resonated with me.
Yeah, it's like our bodies are holding on to that pain even when we try to ignore it mentally or emotionally.
So meditation isn't just about clearing the mind.
It's also about addressing those deeper layers of pain.
Those knots that might be lodged in our bodies.
And that's where this practice of mindful observation can be so powerful.
It allows us to actually turn towards the pain.
Instead of running away from it.
I mean, explore it with kindness and curiosity.
Rather than fear.
Which can then lead to releasing it.
That's the idea.
You know, it makes me think of that Eckhart Tolle quote about the power of the present moment.
Oh, yeah. He says, realize deeply that the present moment is all you ever have.
Right.
Make the now the primary focus of your life.
It's so true.
When we're fully present, we're not lost in regrets about the past.
Or anxieties about the future.
We're right here.
Fully present with whatever's arising.
And in that space of presence,
we can find a peace that goes beyond our circumstances.
The peace that comes from deep within.
So we're not just talking about a technique for calming the mind. We're talking about a path to profound healing and transformation.
On a physical, emotional, and spiritual level.
That's a really beautiful way to put it.
It captures the essence of what we've been talking about.
Meditation is not just a practice.
It's a way of life.
A commitment to showing up for yourself fully.
With kindness and compassion.
In each and every moment.
And it's a journey, not a destination.
Right. There's always more to discover.
More to learn.
More to heal.
It's true. And that's what makes it so exciting.
It's a lifelong adventure.
Of self-discovery.
Of uncovering your true nature.
And of realizing your interconnectedness with all beings.
Do you think that's what ultimately leads to a more peaceful and compassionate world?
I do. I really believe that it starts with each of us cultivating inner peace. And then letting that peace radiate outward.
Touching the lives of everyone around us. That's a really powerful thought.
It is. And before we wrap up, I wanted to share one final quote.
Okay.
This one's from Krishnamurti. He says, meditation is not a means to an end. It is both the means and the end.
So the journey itself is the destination.
Exactly. The practice itself is the reward.
As you continue to explore this path of meditation, may you discover that peace.
That joy.
That deep sense of connection.
That's always available to you.
Right here, right now.
This has been such a great conversation.
It has. I've learned so much.
I'm glad.
I think I speak for everyone listening when I say this deep dive has given us a lot to think about.
I hope so.
Thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today.
It's been a pleasure.
And to all our listeners, we hope this exploration has sparked your curiosity and inspired you to embark on your own journey of meditation and self-discovery.
Until next time, keep diving deep.